Hello, everybody. This is Level Up Lani, and welcome to the next episode of Our Life Beginnings and Always. Let's continue, shall we? You don't have to forget about yourself for me. I want to listen to you too. Cove grinned reassuringly. It was small and delicate, but you knew it was genuine. He had come here conflicted and upset, only to end up worrying about you. He really was a great friend. You know, I think I don't want to talk any more about this. He looked away, his lips thinning into a line, and rubbed at his arms. But I kind of don't want to go back home either. Could I stay a little longer, just doing something else? He appeared equal parts hopeful and vulnerable. How could you possibly turn him away? I got a flashlight and some cards. Are you in? You tilted your head, waiting patiently for his answer. Cove perked up your response, a smile spreading across his face. He immediately took a seat on your bed, not afraid to get comfortable in your room. You felt a little better at the sight somehow. You still had a lot of worries, but you were glad he was here. And not just tonight. You were glad he came into your life in the first place. There was a change you would never want to undo. It felt totally natural to let him into your little world. That initial friendship had deepened so much over the past years, and you were certain there was room to get even closer. You joined Cove on your bed, take a seat across from him. He smiled at you again, but you could tell this time it was half-hearted. He was still easy to read, though he didn't want to talk about his mum and dad. He must be thinking about what happened and what's about to happen. You know, that's what a friend should do. I think friends give each other hugs all the time. You moved closer and wrapped your arms around him. It wasn't much, but you hoped the contact helped even little. Cove froze up, startled. After a moment, his arms came up and returned your hug. The two of you remained like this for some time. He might have mumbled something to you, but it was too quiet to tell what it was. When you pulled back, his expression had softened into something more natural. Conversation was stilled and broken often by the silence at first. Then both of you were able to get into your usual candor. As your secret hangout session stretched on, you thought that you truly wanted to keep having moments like this with him. You hoped a day would never come when life decided that the two of you would have to part ways, and you knew Cove felt the same. You opened your tired eyes, groaning as they adjusted to the bright light. That's what we're having right now this hot summer, by the way. That was streaming through your window and warming your tanned skin. With a loud yawn, you rolled away from the sunlight and blinked a couple of times, clearing the sleep from your eyes, before realising with a start that it was actually morning. You couldn't remember even falling asleep. Cove had crept through your window during the night, and the two of you spent the night together, trying not to wake your parents. Yeah, I was actually thinking, how's he going to get out without getting caught? You must have fallen asleep while you were hanging out, but couldn't put a finger on exactly when. You wondered how late Cove had stayed before heading home. You rubbed your face and yawned again, contemplating whether you should get out of bed and get ready for the day, or stay snuggled up for a little while longer. Until your gaze landed on an instantly recognisable mop of pale green hair, and you bolted upright and gasped in surprise. He never left. He was still there, in the morning. And that's what I would exactly do, though. I probably wouldn't be caught in that situation in the first place. I'm very, no touchy. I'm like that type of person. I'm just not, I won't be there because I'm just a person that doesn't like close proximity unnecessarily. Let's continue. Your feet hit the floor faster than the speed of light. The Cove remained asleep. He had fallen asleep while sitting on the ground and precariously leaning his head on the side of your mattress. It was lucky your leap hadn't caused him to fall over. He certainly couldn't stay like that. You knew you had to wake him up before your parents or Elizabeth waltzed into your room. Yeah, this is what I was concerned about. With that in mind, you also had to get him out of here quickly. After giving him a firm shake on the shoulder, Ko's eyes flew open and he woke with a start. You scrambled out of the way as he abruptly jumped to his feet before almost losing his balance and falling back down. He recovered just as quickly and faced you indignantly.
Hey!
Hey, what was that for? Shh! What? The situation dawned on him too before he even finished the word. Ko blinked to you a couple of times, his eyes growing in panic as some thoughts that he could only hear settled on his mind.
Oh my god!
Yep, you fell asleep, mate. Oh my god, I fell asleep. You weren't exactly sure what to do as you watched Cove pace your room, looking around frantically. Cove stopped mid-step, and you wanted to ask what he had been searching for, but you guessed he wouldn't know the answer to that. He would know the answer to that himself. Despite that, he hadn't calmed down completely. The atmosphere was still frazzled. We're gonna have to find some way just to calm it down. Yeah, I'm gonna be just real frank. Calm down before you get spotted by the parents. Cove nodded, his shoulders tense as he fixed you with a firm stare with his turquoise eyes. Letting out a heavy sigh, he ran a hand through his hair in exasperation. He couldn't look at it again as he spoke. I'll see you later. You were confused by how all this played out, but hoped that it was true. Right. Bye, Cove. At that, he was suddenly wrapped up in a tense embrace. As panicked as he was, this seemed to be something he couldn't forget before leaving. Thanks again. You're a good friend, Lani. He firmly whispered the words into the top of your shoulder. But you were let go before you had a chance to respond or even react. Go as quick as you possibly can. In a matter of seconds, he had climbed over your bed and opened the window. A cool breeze rolled off the ocean, fluttering through Ko's hair and filling your room with its salty scent. Ko fearlessly stepped out onto the ledge. We're not going to suggest that. That would be literal danger, and that you'd probably screw things up. Good luck. Be super careful. You weren't sure if he heard you or not, but he kept going along, one foot in front of the other with increasing speed, until his form disappeared out of sight. You stuck your head out of the window as far as it could go to try keeping watch. He walks the full length of the ledge before jumping down to the top of the garage, then lowering himself onto the fence. From there, he finally drops to the ground. You threw out a thumbs up at his successful climb. He ran off towards his house without stopping, disappearing behind the side of another building. You had to admit that you were pretty impressed at how doable he made that look. With a little sigh, you reclosed your window, deciding there was nothing more you could do. You hopped off your bed and got ready to head downstairs for the day. You put on your slippers, you checked yourself in the mirror, you made your bed, you just left. You certainly looked like you'd just woken up with your black hair sticking up all over the place. Taking the comb from your bedside table, you attempted to fix and smooth down some of those messy strands. You took the stairs, slowly attempting to mask your face into a look of innocence. You were sure that someone would have come into your room if they had heard anything strange, but you couldn't be too careful. You had to play it cool. When you stepped to the living room, it's still morning. Elizabeth was there, for me, morning literally, tapping her finger on the counter. Good morning, Elizabeth. She looked at you immediately, her eyes squinting at the greeting.
Why?
Why are you being so weird? You hadn't even done anything. Your big sister never missed a beat, unfortunately. You turned it off with a tight smile, and her lips pursed together tighter and tighter. Lani? You shrugged it off. I'm not. You spoke so nonchalantly, you almost thought she believed you. But you knew better. Further suspicious squinting occurred as she waited for something. But ultimately, she rolled her eyes, and you weren't sure if you were in trouble or not. She didn't seem to care enough to dig any further. Whatever.